Hi, Colleen.
Hi, how you doing, Pat?
Good. I notice every time I say hi, Colleen, I itch my eye. I noticed that in some of our other videos. I don't know why that is. Um,
Every time you say hi, you itch your eye.
I do this, yeah. I don't know if it's a tick or not, if my eye was really itchy. But you and
Which
I
is
had a
funny.
casual
This is going to be
conversation.
like a little bit of side note to what we're doing.
Yeah, a little bit of a side note is look for my twitch in the beginning of each of the videos.
Well, Ruth is always has told me, my sister Ruth, who you know well, has always said, keep your hands off your eyes, because I always did this, and she said it made like a little like sound that really like she hated. So that's all I can think of when I touch my eye.
So I know we were mixing up stories, but and I know that this will still be a funny story to tell. But you and I had a casual conversation when I was on the road last week, and I think went down a journey weirdly of beds and water beds. And I think the question of the night right now that we were stupidly wanting to talk about is: do people still have water beds?
We
And do
want
they
to
even
know.
make water beds?
They do make the water beds. I just looked it up and they're fairly cheap. They're a lot cheaper from what I can see. They're a lot cheaper than regular beds. I don't know if I'm looking at the whole thing, but 89.99 all sizes. Like who can get a bed for that nowadays?
Well, and they were such a very glitzy thing back in those 70s and 80s. It was a really coveted, kind of like this mod lifestyle. And I certainly don't remember many that had it. My only recollection is house sitting for our friends Rick and Lulu, and they had a waterbed. And I didn't understand the whole notion of it because I felt like it was very squishy. Like I felt like you never really, I didn't understand the comfort that came. And maybe that was something over time, but that was my only experience.
It was definitely something getting used to. My earliest memory of a waterbed, and I never like tried it out or anything like that, but I saw it and I think I like jiggled the bed, was my neighbors like Casey and Brady Maynard in Enfield. I know the parents had a waterbed, and I think I remember like us going in there one night day and like just jiggling the bed because I had never seen one.
That's so strange. It is, I guess, like we think of shag carpeting or like weird vans like that people had, that they would party in the back of, or us kids would. So I'm trying to remember, because when we were roommates 100 years ago, you came with waterbed. And where did that waterbed come from? Like, how did you end up when I brought my twin mattress from my 12-year-old twin mattress, and how did you come in with a donkey water bed?
That was Scott's waterbed. And he had another bed, so he let me use that waterbed.
And did you
at our
fill
apartment?
it? How did you fill it up?
I think from the bathtub, like with a hose. I think we filled it up with a big hose from either the sink or the bathtub that was hooked, and it went all the way down the hall. And it took like, I think a long time. The water, did she pay the water bill? Did Roseanne pay the water bill?
The reason I was trying to think about that is I do know that we got scolded, you got scolded for washing your car out in front of the house with their water. And she definitely asked us to conserve more on water. I'm sure her husband was having a nervous breakdown.
I think he probably would have been having a pretty big nervous breakdown, because I think it took a long time for this waterbed to fill up. As far as I can remember, it was a long time before I could sleep in that.
And then it just kept its water, like you never had to refill it again. It was just good to go.
Well, it was good to go until, I don't know. I mean, we had cats from the very beginning, right?
You had cats.
Yes, I had Wilbur that I brought from college, and Sheila. I don't know where we ended up getting little kitten Sheila. I remember you were like you named your cat after my mother, and thought that was kind of weird. But Wilbur and Sheila were in the house, and they were crazy. And that was not a good mix, because I I woke up and I would tend to wear nightgowns, and this particular nightgown was my, like, I think you called it my little house in the prairie
It was a very
nightgown.
flowy cotton, Cheech
Long,
nightgown, very prim
flannelly,
and proper one.
maybe a little lace around the collar. Um, but then I woke up. I think I dreamt that I was drowning and I was splashing, and I woke up completely soaked. The cats had got underneath the pad for the that protects the plastic of the water bed and kneaded, because there were dozens of pinprick holes in it, that, and maybe it just took a little while because they weren't there that night doing it. They probably did it during the day when we were at work. But they pinpricked it so much that it leaked, and it finally, with the weight of my body on it, it must have just finally, just everything just went loose. I started screaming. You guys came running in.
But how did you fix it of all of the?
There's a patch kit, and I was just noticing when I was looking up water beds, there's actually a little patch kit that you buy or you get when you buy a water bed that has, because I remember that I think I think I called Scott and said the water bed has a leak, and I think he fixed it. I
And
don't
so,
really remember that. I think so, because I think I slept on it some more.
yeah, I feel like the waterbed was there until you left, and we remember that Scott wanted that bed back. I believe he took the waterbed back. And
Right. I
so,
think he did. I don't know what ever happened to it after.
and I
I
don't even know
definitely
how we
did not
would have,
move it to Florida with me.
yeah, and I don't even know. I'm assuming that you would have had to drain it. Like, I remember we just shoved it in the hallway for him to pick up. So I'm assuming that we drained it.
Yeah. We must have. And I think it probably needed to be refilled again after the cats punctured it and it was repaired. I think it had to be refilled. So there goes poor Roseanne's
Well, her
water
water
belly.
meter was going like this the whole time that we lived downstairs. I'm sure.
Well, I don't think people have like also the life to have two water beds in their life. Or maybe they do. I don't know. But when I met Jim, lo and behold, Jim had a waterbed, and it was the same type of waterbed. It wasn't like the one I slept on in Edgewater was a flopsy dopsy
Yeah.
waterbed. Like you get in it and it, like, you have to get out of it. And it was a little like sometimes like rolling out or whatever to get out of it. But this one was like kind of this wavy waterbed too. And it does take a little while to figure out where you're comfortable in that bed. Like you can't you can't be a really flopsy bopsy sleeper, or you're like all over the place and it doesn't stop. You pretty much have to find your comfort spot and stay there. But then it does like meld around your body and it's really nice. But you can't be a active sleeper. You can't be all over.
I'm going to be obsessed. I'm going to have to look when we're done with this of people like, I'm sure there's some yahoos on YouTube where let me show you my glorious waterbed. And there's a tutorial around it. So we'll have to look at that. And then like, would you ever have one again? Was it so glorious that you needed to have one again?
No, I don't think I ever made the decision to have one either time that I've had them. So I really enjoy I think we were talking before, like about the heavenly bed. I called it the dream bed. It's the heavenly bed, right? For the West End. I feel like I have that bed now. Like it's so comfortable. It's just cushy enough, and it has like a frame that I can bring it up to watch television. It's my perfect bed.
I think everything with you is a bizarre story, and we'll leave names out. But before we completely close your bed journey, the bed that I think you were sued over was not a waterbed.
It was not a waterbed, and I was sued for $50. Okay. I was sued for $50. I was brought to court. I didn't have to go to court. I settled out of court for $50, but it was a bed. A roommate that I had after high school, before the military, that like that year, that weird year, that I had, that I was living in an apartment in Lebanon. Her cousin gave me a bed to use, I guess. I thought she gave it to me, but she gave it to me to use. And it was basically just a mattress and box spring. And when I left, nobody else was there. So I like shoved it out and put it by the garbage, the dumpster there. It was an old bed to start with. Like it wasn't like a brand new spanking bed. It was like an old bed. So I put it out there, and then I got a letter, like a certified letter, probably a month later, saying that I owed $50 for this waterbed, and I believe that I just
Not a
paid it.
waterbed, though. You called it a waterbed.
Oh, I did call it a waterbed. It was not a waterbed. It was just a plain old bed with a box spring and a mattress that I shoved down 2 flights of stairs to the dumpster. I totally remember that it wasn't a waterbed.
That's so bizarre that you got sued for a bed. I don't know if Judge Judy would have given, I don't know if it would have passed through. I don't know, your suspect. I did bring it downstairs and put it by the dumpster. I don't know if that helps your story, but that was sort of like when you guys kind of skipped town on that apartment, right? Like you guys were like moving on.
I think we skipped town because I think I wanted the deposit back because I cleaned that place. And I mean, I remember cleaning it and being hot and doing it all by myself and shoving that bed down the stairs and everything and making sure that it was okay. I've skipped out of apartments before and left a crap load of stuff in them before. Mm-hmm. This one I definitely I cleaned out. That's horrible that I just said that. Does that make me a bad person?
No, not at all. But so not a good judge of beds, I guess, is the theme of this story tonight. I mean, I guess at the time it was moving and shading. I mean, this waterbed, like that, it went from Scott's place to your place, and it leaked, and he wanted it back, so we had it shoved in a hallway, and it still continued to lead this life. I just don't
I wonder what happened to that bed. Maybe it's still leading a life somewhere. Who knows?
Maybe. And is coming home drunk the last thing I would have wanted to have been on any kind of kind of weird bed?
I don't know if I remember ever, and there were plenty of nights that I was drunk in Edgewater. I don't ever remember it bothering me. So I wonder.
I guess you got used to it then.
Or maybe I like slept with one foot on the floor, because I've done that before. But it would be hard in a waterbed because it had that the wood case around it. So it'd be kind of hard to throw your leg over and try to sleep with one leg on the floor on that one. But
well, now you have your glitzy bed, so
I love it.
Don't have to worry about it. You have the bionic woman Lindsay Wagner bed.
Yeah. Here, look. This is I have a remote control for it.
So, all right, that is our very scintillating topic tonight, is do people still have water beds or get brought to court for box springs if they don't return?
Please comment. Please let us know. That would be so fun.
Exactly. All right, well, I love you. Have a good night.
I love you so much. Bye.
Bye.